Imagine you had a group of friends that you were trying to impress. You do everything every day to basically show and prove yourself that you're trustworthy, you're honorable, and you want to contribute to the group. You even join in with that particular group against their enemies. So their enemies become your enemies, and you waste all of your time bashing those enemies for your group, proving to them that you're a good friend. But then, after all of your service, they come and tell you and say, hey man, we really appreciate you doing all of those things against our enemies. But the reality is you're different from us. And really, we want you to go back to where you came from. We don't want you here at all. In fact, we'd rather you go over there with the enemies. I'm sorry, man, it's just how it is. How would you feel? You probably feel like crap. And you wanna know who feels like that? Myron. Now, as you know, Myron has joined in with the Groypers, all the alt-lights, or all those other guys against blacks, against Jews, against gays, whoever else, right? These guys hate everybody. But this isn't his first time being rejected by these white supremacists. Now remember, he has a lot of hateful commentary towards African Americans.
Reparations are for retards, okay? Black people need to just stop being lazy. You're not gonna get a handout, okay? We're not gonna give you your reparations because guess who's gonna have to pay for that? The middle class is gonna have to pay for it.
Yes.
Now, let's keep it 1,000. Get your reparations. What you gonna do with it? You gonna buy a bunch of some Jordans, some drugs, some weed.
They're gonna buy some weed.
Yeah.
Yo,
Yeah.
what good,
You gotta buy some Fendi. You gotta buy some bullshit.
buy some guns.
As you can see, he feels very strongly about black people. Hey, you don't even get to get reparations when you're a person that came as an immigrant to America, and black people are the reason why people like you and the other can even be in the United States right now as it is as a black person. But it's okay. These guys are gonna get their Negro wake-up call very soon. Now, despite saying all of those things about black Americans, Myron is not necessarily welcomed by all white people, even though he says a lot of things that support their narrative. And I'm talking about those whites on the extreme right, not all whites, right? And he's about to have a debate on whether he could be able to support white spaces. And some of these guys want to send him back to Africa. I know that you don't believe me, so let's get into it.
Can I make this interesting? Can I make this interesting real quick? Myron, you were in my space the other day, and I said, you're doing a great job calling out these Jews, but, if we take this country back, we want it for white folks. And would you go home? And you said, I was born here, and I'm not going anywhere. And this is where I think the problem is with working with non-whites is that once you think you help us, that you're just going to stay in our country. Do you still stand with that answer?
So do you hear that? Like, I'm glad that he's actually being honest, because this is how I think a lot of people feel without saying it, right? Once you help us, you feel like you need to stay amongst us. This is one of the reasons why when so many blacks with their Negro wake-up call, they get cut off and never able to return, where, you see people in the black community, we're much more forgiving. It's because that we're not their people. That's why, for the most part. But hey, Myron, you're helping us, but you know what? Once we're done with using you for what we can get you for, we don't want you around us either. And this is what a lot of these guys find out the hard way, the long and hard way, that these people don't really mess with you like that, although you feel that they do.
Bro, look, man, I know you're trying to get a clippable moment here for your
No, it's the truth, man. This is the issue with whites working with non-whites.
We're over here talking about a problem, then you bring it right back into, this whole white thing. Like, dude, shut
This whole white thing is what built this country, Myron.
Shut up, dude.
Hey, you.
Hey,
I am in Florida. I'm in Florida, and I will knock you out on camera.
All right, we're not.
Oh, wait a minute. Come on, Myron, you always telling everybody to pull up, man. Mr. White Zaddy was like, listen, man, I'm in Florida. I will knock you out on camera. Who you think you're talking to? Now, to be fair, this guy, HT the Giga, they're talking about censorship on platforms and things like that. They're not having a racial discussion, but the guy is trying to make it a racial discussion, which is not really the topic of the discussion, which is why Myron is pissed. But hey, let's go about it.
Okay, I'm not going to have violence in the space. It's not even my space. I think Ian's having issues, so look, I'm not going to allow that in Ian's space.
It's mutual combat.
I understand, but like, listen, people are listening.
There
They're
is no
flipping
mutual
things.
bad. I don't even want to deal with you, bro. Like,
Well
you're a
then,
weirdo.
why are you in? Why do you think
Shut
you
up.
could stay in my country? Why?
He said, "Why do you feel like you can stay in my country?" See, it's one thing to know that you're not welcome and stay away and try to develop with your own people, which is what your boy O'Shea Duke Jackson does, right? I could probably have a bigger platform if I were to appeal to everybody, but I don't want everybody because I've seen so many experiences in my life. And trust me, yes, you know, not everybody is racist and all that, but you're gonna get the most by dealing with your own people, okay? Whenever you're trying to go out there and get that acceptance from everybody, it never works, right? And you're gonna somehow come across this.
Guy. Look,
No,
look,
it's the
look,
truth.
I'm not
This
even
you
talking to
didn't
you
build
right
this
now.
country, Myron. You're not from here.
Address you right
You're
now.
you're
Look,
not from this country. Why do
yo,
you think you can stay?
anyway, like I
No,
was
it's a
saying,
it's a it's a
Sam,
point, Myron.
I'm not
Answer
Well,
it.
talking to you, man. I'm not
actually,
talking to
here's
you.
a better point. I'm gonna listen. Here's actually a good. You know, we've been talking about an alliance all night tonight. You know, what's the priority? Do we fight Jews? Do we put white people first? What do we do? Listen, free speech on Twitter is an alliance worthy fight, right? Like where we can all come together around the principle of free speech. It doesn't matter if you're black, brown, white, American, African, Muslim, Christian. It doesn't matter. All right. So this is actually a case where everybody should be united around free speech and fight for everybody's free speech. Okay.
But the guy doesn't want that. That's the whole point. He doesn't care about that. All right? He's saying, hey, and don't quote me on this, but maybe the guy HT the Giga is saying, listen, I don't even mind you, doing that. Free speech should be great because, the guy, I think he's been kicked off of Twitter for a long time or many times. But once you get through helping us, you need to go your own way, away from where we are. We want to be separate from you. You're a non-white. We don't want you around. Okay? And to be honest, you guys know how I really feel about this. I live in Africa, so that should let you know how I feel. I actually don't have a problem with people who say things like that. Now, I got a problem when they start getting, calling people out your name. But if you want to stay separate from other people, it's okay. And we should also know that. People are going to prefer their groups over you, technically, which is something that a lot of blacks have a problem with. And we're still looking for people to like us. But this is how many people feel of all nationalities about their group. But especially whites. You have some whites out there, maybe not all of them, but they're like, listen, man, just because you're on our team, you're helping us right now, look, you need to understand why we appreciate that. You guys need to go back to where you're from, and we want to stay over here where we're at. That's how I can't see how many people feel, but definitely there are people who feel like this.
Speech on Twitter is an alliance worthy fight, right? Like where we can all come together around the principle of free speech. It doesn't matter if you're black, brown, white, American, African, Muslim, Christian. It doesn't matter. All right. So this is actually a case where everybody should be united around free speech and fight for everybody's free speech. Okay. That's it. So turning this discussion about free speech on Twitter into turning it into a race war in America, it's just out of order. It's
And that's what this guy is doing, is just race baiting. Like, I'm talking
No,
about a
no,
real
no.
thing
Listen,
here,
Myron.
and he comes
Myron.
in here trying to clip.
But Myron, all you do is race bait all day on your Twitter. The guy is just giving you that same energy. You do it to everybody. Blacks, you do it to Jews, you do it to other groups, gays, whoever else you can talk about. Hey, nobody's asking you to go off on people. You just do it randomly. So what the guy is doing what you do to other people randomly, and you don't like it. But this is what you do every day on Twitter.
For some boots me
Myron,
out
I'm
of
doing just fine.
chat.
I'm doing just fine,
Boots me
bud.
out of his thing because obviously he's like,
Because you're not white.
I'm not gonna go ahead and debate you. I'm just gonna boot you out of my fucking.
Because you're
thing
not
'cause I'm a
white.
what does that have to do with anything, dude? I'm not talking to you right now.
Because
This
you're in my
conversation has
country
nothing
right
to do
now.
with you.
You're in
This
my
has
country
nothing
right
to
now.
do with you.
You're an
This has
invader.
nothing to do with you.
You hate the Jews, but at the
Dude,
same time, you are a spy.
You're
You're a spy,
You're not
Myron.
even white. Shut up.
Yes, I
You're
am. DNA test is out there, Myron.
out of here, dude. You're a
My
Mexican. Shut the up, Jorge. Over here trying to sit there and say, I'm white. Shut
my
up, dude.
DNA test
You're
is
wearing
out
a
there,
sombrero
Myron. Is
right now.
yours? Is
You're
yours,
wearing a
Myron?
sombrero right now, faggot. Shut up. Shut the up,
Myron,
man.
you are
You're
a
a fucking
non-white
nobody.
invader. Thank the.
All right, that's just unproductive. Like this igniting a race war in this space tonight, HT, uncalled for, unnecessary. You can have a different space for that. Like earlier, that might have been appropriate, but right now we're talking about free speech on Twitter. So
This non-white is calling me a Mexican. All right,
Bro,
this is the
bro, you're attacking him too. So listen, like you said, it was mutual combat, but it's over now. We're not going to
well,
derail
my
the
point is
space.
this, Sam. Sam, this is what I'm talking about. If you want to be pro-white, and you have non-whites in here that are naming the Jew, right? And they don't want to go home after we defeat the Jew, then you're going to be in a sticky situation with the pro-whites that help you
Well,
get to
listen,
your
as I
cause.
already said, this country has never been 100.0% white. It's never going to be 100.0% white. That's just that's not even enough within the realm of possibility to even be called a pipe dream. All right, so
So
that's just ridiculous.
1790 Naturalization Act was for what? No reason? Just
I mean, so the guy is thinking, once the whites take back over America, we're going to get rid of all of the non-whites. What? It's almost laughable to think that he actually believes this. Just because you have so many migrants coming over, the United States brings people over from different countries to study. Same thing with the UK. It's a different country now. I don't know. He's trying to go to like he wants like a white ethno state or something like that. So which is not going to happen, obviously. But that's what he's trying to do. So let's continue.
just
It
so
wasn't not
guys
for
like
no
Myron
reason,
can be here.
but the country, even at that point, was not 100.0 white. Okay, so it just wasn't. It never was. It never has been. It never will be.
Right.
That's just not even a pipe dream, bro.
See, this is where we have an issue where these non-whites get to be in here.
If you think we're going to eradicate every non-white,
I didn't say
person out of the
eradicate.
United States,
I didn't say
okay,
eradicate.
well, yes, you
I
are.
said
You're
go
talking. You're
home.
talking getting rid of Myron here. Like
same
it's just an unnecessary. You've completely derailed the discussion, man.
No, it is a topic, Joel. Is there
The
any
topic right now? The topic right now is censorship on Twitter.
Right.
That's what we're talking about. We're not talking about white versus black in the future, whatever ethno state, whenever, if ever it happens. Okay, that's not what we're talking about right now. We're talking about censorship on Twitter. I was making a point that this is actually a great case for allying with people who aren't like us, because we all want free speech, right? None of us want to be kicked off Twitter. You've been kicked off Twitter how many times, Hanson?
quite a few?
All right. So do you want to get kicked off again? Do you want to get other people kicked off?
Remember that space we had in December?
No,
that was awesome.
it's not about that. It's about principles of our ancestors said that this
Yeah,
country's
that's not
for
the
us.
topic of discussion right now. So that's
Okay, well,
it's just not the topic
okay.
of discussion right now. We're
All right, I
talking
just
about
wanna say
censorship on Twitter.
one-
So you've made
one
your
last thing,
point.
Marjorie-
You've made your
Mar-
point. Like what
Okay,
non-white
okay.
people don't belong in the future American ethno state
Right.
under
Exactly.
your dreams. Okay, under
That's right.
yeah. So you've made your point. Now we're going to
Okay.
get back to talking about how we can defeat this censorship on Twitter. Okay.
Well, I know how.
I don't know what the guy is thinking about, but obviously he doesn't want non-blacks in America. Good luck with, hey, if you didn't want blacks in America, then why would they do slavery and bring people over here? And now you're saying go back. That's another discussion. I'm not going to get in that. The whole idea is the fact that he dislikes Myron just based on the fact that he's black, although Myron says some of the same things he says. It doesn't matter. He's like, listen, man, thank you for what you're doing. But the reality is, you're not a white person. You need to understand that. And to be honest, as rude as he's saying it, and he's basically being a racist and all that, but the honesty that he's talking with is how so many people in the Democratic Party feel about blacks. At least he's able to say it and articulate it. And you already know from the jump with somebody that talks like that, you're not going to get anywhere with them. Stay away from them. But Myron is still trying to be accepted by these people, although that this isn't the first time that we've heard Myron being called out about this. There's nothing he can do to grow with them. He's not white. He'd be better off working with his community in Sudan or in Africa. He would be able to have so much growth there. But he doesn't want that because he wants to be over there with them while down talking to his own people. So selling out never gives you anything but grief. But let's continue.
Marjorie Taylor Greene could mention white once in a while.
It would be nice. It would be
Yeah,
nice.
Marjorie, get up here and start talking about white. That'd be nice.
And you know what's interesting, dude? You know what's interesting? As someone who's, of Arab and black descent, I've been very vocal about whites, right? Having
Yes,
the
you
ability
have.
to claim to say, hey, like, I don't think white supremacy is a bad thing. I don't have an issue with whites saying like, yo, our country was founded by whites and needs to stay a majority white. I don't have an issue with you guys being able to you know, one
I don't think that white supremacy is a bad thing, even if it excludes him, though. Continue.
to keep your race white. Like, hey, we don't want interracial marriages, etc. I've been a stark defender of white people being able to have this and be able to practice it without people calling them racist. But then I get dickheads like this Mexican fuck coming in here.
I'm not
talking
Mexican.
shit reason for reason talking
I'm
shit
not
when I wasn't
Mexican,
even
you
talking
camel
about him,
jockey.
trying to get a clip in here wearing a sombrero, you faggot, like you, dude. Because if you want to go ahead and have jokes, we can go ahead and play this game, you high school retard dropout that can't keep a job criminal. I've actually served my country. What the fuck have you done, faggot?
What
You've
did
done
you
nothing
serve,
but be a
dog?
Whoa. So Myron is saying, I've actually served the country in the military or whatever he's done. What has this other guy done? I guess this other guy's not successful. I'm not sure. I don't know who the guy is.
You serve Zog?
faggot.
You serve Zog?
You've been
You
doing
serve
nothing
Zog.
but
You
throw-
went
'cause
you
I-
went and
but
fought a
here's
war
the
for
thing,
Jews?
asshole. I can
You
play
went
this game and
you
fucking
fought
throw
it
the
you fought a
Roman
war for
salutes and name the
Jews?
Jews too. I can name the Jews and throw the Roman salutes just like you, faggot. I'm not scared of nobody. I do this shit too. So you want to be a racist? I can be a racist too. You
I'm not a Mexican.
are a fucking Mexican.
I think you better get that straight. What do you get
are
with
Mexican.
sombrero? What are you
You
talking
are a
about?
Mexican. You
No, I'm not.
wearing.
How much you want to bet? How much? Put your money where your mouth is. Put your money where your mouth is.
It's funny he's calling a guy a Mexican, but Nick Fuentes is half white, half Hispanic.
Put your money where your mouth is right now. How much you want to bet? Put your money where your mouth is, Myron. How much you want to bet? Put your money on it.
You're making a
Put your money on it. Put your money on it, Myron.
I don't bet. I don't bet.
Yeah, that's right. You're a non-white scumbag.
I don't gamble. You.
Oh yeah, but you pimp out white kids to go be degenerates. You bag.
How do I pimp out white kids? Are you?
Don't you run some yacht service teaching white kids how to get? You degen.
This guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh-oh. So wait a minute. Here's the issue. So basically, a lot of guys who are like real white conservatives, like extreme ones, they don't like the fact that people like Myron have influence on young white guys to get them to become players. They want them to actually marry and reproduce with their women and help build and defend the nation. They don't want them to become, these red pill alpha male guys like Myron, because they find men like that useless to their community and their society. That's another issue too. See, they also don't respect what Fresh and Fit does, which is converting guys into simps and being hypocritical. They're not producing the kind of white guys that are going to be builders.
This guy, he's
All
fucking.
right.
Yeah, exactly.
Come
Got
on
you
now.
busted.
Listen, this isn't
Busted.
my space. I don't listen. We're not gonna. This is Ian's space. I'm not gonna tolerate any more of this. So handsome, Fred, Myron.
Yeah, this
if you
dude's
guys,
a retard, bro.
If you
Fucking
guys,
Hey, shut up. You're
low IQ.
come on, guys, come on. Let's elevate the discourse. Elevate the discourse.
I'm not going to let
Hey,
talk shit to
stop
me.
calling him. Stop calling him names. Everybody, stop calling everybody names.
See, and this is the problem, right? You get an ally, right? That
So the guy started it first with Myron, actually, right? But actually, Myron, he just got checked, man. The guy doesn't want you there. And that's why you will never see me. Yeah, I tell people all the time. I voted for Trump in 2016, 2020. I'm going to do it in 2024, right? But I will never be over there in those discussions with them. I'm a pro-black through and through. I don't even have discussions with white supremacists or white racists. I don't even care what they think. I wouldn't even be amongst them. But when you're booty clapping it up for white zaddy booty clapping sounds, this is what you get. So guys, what do you think? It's your boy, Shitty Jackson, back at it again with an episode of Fair Use. I'm out.